Hey, everybody, it is Drinks with Dee Dee.
And John.
It's always an afterthought. It's an afterthought. Dinks with Dee Dee. Yeah, okay. That makes a lot of sense. Drinks with Dee Dee and John.
Always fun.
We have, and we never know what we're going to say. So what we try to do on this show is we try to cover topics that you have written in on Facebook or on Instagram or on X. You know, I'm so tired of people calling it formerly known as Twitter. Why do we have, you change something's name. Why do you have to keep calling it?
It's been a while. They should figure it out.
It's been long enough.
It's X.
Yeah.
I like it. I like X.
Because the whole deal with Prince was not about him rebranding himself. That was a way to kind of get back at the record
artist
label.
Formerly known as
Prince.
But you're saying it was a vendetta. It wasn't like he was trying to
I'm not saying it was a vendetta. Well, maybe I am.
That sounded
Is
like
there a
it.
difference between a vendetta and just a smart, tactical, legal maneuver?
I think it's the same.
I mean, it can be inspired by a vendetta.
I mean, people could die either way, which is tragic. But it depends the level of the.
I don't think anybody got hurt when Prince did that.
No, but vendettas and legal issues or whatever, things get crazy. I mean, just they're.
So my understanding of that was that what happened is he wanted to put out basically a greatest hits of his favorite stuff, and the record label said, "Well, we own the masters," which is a common problem in the music industry, especially. I was going to say, we are doing this show today. We're doing it from Nashville. Hey, how about this?
Yeah,
look at all
different.
this.
I'm trying to figure out where my hat's going, though.
And he was trying to, your hat, my hair.
Because everyone always wants to know about the hat, so we'll
and
talk
the hair.
about that a
Maybe
little
I should
bit.
put a hat on my hair.
I love your hair. You've got beautiful hair. And that's always the topic of conversation as well, is your hair. Every
This is
day-
why I have to keep notes, because we haven't finished with the last topic yet.
I know, but every day people talk about your hair. I think it's beautiful. I think it's great for it to be wild. Sometimes it's.
I feel like the cowardly lion.
No, it's beautiful.
Courage.
I mean, maybe a BG, but I wouldn't say
great.
the cowardly
Okay.
lion.
So he wanted his masters, and they said no, and they also said, this is my understanding of it is, I could be incorrect, but I don't think so. It was something like they said, we own the masters, and that's really a terrible idea.
Well,
So he said, okay,
Prince...
well, I will just redo all of them, and I will also call myself by somebody else.
Well,
you
known as, which I thought was funny. I mean,
Prince
now
all
knowing
of a sudden
the whole
can't
story.
be known as Pauper, right?
It's
so
funny.
he called himself the artist formerly known as Prince. He redid all that music, and he sold 20-something million units of that record. I'm not sure what that record is, but as soon as the first record was the artist formerly known as Prince, you can check that out yourself. Now, it doesn't always work. Because Garth Brooks did it.
It worked for Taylor Swift.
What did she? Well, she recut the masters.
She just recut the whole thing, right? And just said, "All right, I'm doing it."
Yeah, but she didn't change her name.
She's so famously successful. Whatever she did, good for her.
She did something really, really smart because Garth tried to do it too. Remember, he did that.
Weren't you involved
in
that?
What that was? No. That was the whole barcode thing. I don't remember who
Didn't
Garth
you discover
pretended
the barcode?
to be. What?
That's kind of a big deal. Didn't you kind of discover the barcode?
Well, no, I didn't.
Or encourage it, or you were a...
There was a group of country artists in Nashville that we said, look, because there are more butts in seats at any given NASCAR race than there are at the Super Bowl, it stands to reason that if we had a legitimate computerized, this was in the 80s, right, computerized inventory system. That's the barcode. Well, you've seen it on anything you have a barcode on it. Country music didn't used to have that. Christian music didn't used to have that. I'm not sure that Christian music, I don't know that they have it to this day. Stephen Curtis Chapman, I believe, was fighting to get that on there. But they said, no. The barcode doesn't matter. And what a barcode does, it seems so pedestrian today. But if you bring 20 albums to Turtle Records in Atlanta, back when there was a Turtle Records in Atlanta, 20 John Schneider albums, and you go there once a month and you bring 20 more. So when you come back in a month, there's 18 left, then you know that you only sold 2. If there's 2 left, you know you sold 18. If there's none left, here was the problem. If there's none left, you didn't know whether you sold those 20 records in 30 days or in 30 minutes. So there was no system by which you would restock country music on the shelves at Turtles or Tower or Walmart or anywhere without the barcode. So what the barcode did is, especially with these things, what the barcode did is by the time Joe got back from delivering 20 records to Turtles, by the time he got to his van, if they were gone, he would know, like if you have a Shopify store now. I know when anybody purchases anything on Shopify because it goes ding, right? And that's great because every time a bell rings, a Schneider gets his wings. So
or $5.
The point of $5 sale that's going on right now.
Then 4, then 3, then 2,
they
then
don't
1.
know that.
Oh, I'm sorry. Well,
Forget
now
what
they
she
do.
said. Pay no attention to the woman behind the hat. So that would happen, and nobody wanted to do it. Now I'm a little smarter. They didn't want to do it because there was a little other kind of business going on in the music business that made not being able to keep up with inventory actually advantageous to some. Those were the people that really fought having the barcode. Yeah. But they finally gave in. I stopped doing country music way back when. But it was myself and Ronnie Millsap. I think Conway was part of it. People who were selling a lot of records under that system. We believed that we would outsell, at the time, Bon Jovi's album, Slippery When Wet, came out, and it just took the world by storm. Great album, and sold a lot. But rock and roll had a barcode. Hair bands had a barcode.
Okay, so what you're saying, I didn't quite understand in the beginning. Rock and roll had barcodes, but country music didn't?
Country did not have barcodes.
That's so weird.
I know. Well, there's a lot of reasons why they didn't, and none of them had anything to do with the financial well-being of the artist
Monster,
or the writer.
Like Gangster, like this stuff falls off the truck and they resell it or something?
There might have been a little bit of that.
That's the only reason you want to not keep track of something.
Well, if you have a record, and I'm talking about LPs in your collection, that have a hole punched in the top right-hand corner of the album, then that usually means that was for promotional purposes, or that was excess inventory that never got sold, so they punched a hole in it so they could, use it. They would give it away, but those records still got sold. They did. This is a long way around the barn. The first artist to finally have the industry give in on this whole barcode thing, and I believe that the reason they did it was just to shut everybody up. And I was long out of this conversation by this point. But my last publicist in the music industry, and when I did my last album for MCA, was this artist's first manager. And she continued to fight the barcode fight, and they finally said, okay, my God, would you please just stop talking? And they put a barcode on a record. And what song was on that album? Friends in Low Places. Great song, nothing against the song, but that was, an old expression how people try to get the mayonnaise lid off. They try and they try and they try and they finally give up, and then they put it down. Dad comes in and goes, That's kind of what happened. I don't think Garth even really knows that.
You should tell him. Yeah, well, yeah, everybody knows now.
Yeah, so because when Garth came out, he outsold the Beatles. I mean, it was insane.
He was
Country
a big deal
music
there,
was even more popular.
He still is.
Well, yeah, but not only did that happen with him, but then all of a sudden, huge country music artists started playing coliseums. Mm-hmm. So it wasn't just Garth. I mean, Garth was the first one. Then there was Brooks and Dunn. Then there was Alan Jackson. Then there's Kenny Chesney. But all of these artists have no concept of a world before the barcode.
My goodness, I guess not.
So, yeah. And that also has to do, there wasn't Ticketmaster, there wasn't e-Tix, there wasn't all that kind of stuff too. So as elementary as the whole notion of keeping an accurate inventory sounds, that's what made, I believe, that's what didn't make country music. Country music has always been, always will be. But that's what made country music so incredibly lucrative and so incredibly popular. Well, it was just as popular, but it was not nearly as lucrative. Sadly, as all of that started to happen, used to be when somebody wrote a song, they knew exactly how many because of the barcode. They knew exactly how many 45s and how many LPs they sold, and then how many CDs. Then comes along Napster,
Mm-hmm.
and then comes along streaming. And somebody who put their children through like 4 children through college off of 2 or 3 songs they wrote, now all of a sudden gets a email that says, "Congratulations on your billionth download. Here's your check for $160."
Right.
Yeah,
And
so
I think the music industry, it just seems, and again, I'm an outsider, but it seems like it's become very, very difficult. I mean, unless you're a Garth Brooks, to make the money like they used to.
Yeah, it's difficult because again, now there's no inventory. I don't know what a streaming. I still don't know how people get paid with that. I don't understand it. But that wasn't one of our topics.
Well, it never is.
We just
That's
kind of
the
went
whole
off.
point. We let the show go wherever the heck we want, and it works, and
Or
we're
wherever
happy.
the heck
and,
it wants. I
yeah,
suppose.
right. And but here now we're in Nashville, so it's appropriate to talk about. And Nashville is, it's really grown. I mean, it's so different than when you first got here, and even when I visited. And now it's just skyscraper after skyscraper, and it's just so different than it used to be.
We walked to breakfast this morning, and we saw a guy on a little cats moving dirt around where 2, kind of
oldish, historic looking,
falling down recording studios used to be, and one of which I recorded a couple of the songs from the Odyssey at the studio, and it's just dirt and gravel there now, because they're gonna plant another skyscraper. Which is just what Nashville needs. I know I'm one of those old guys, but I jog in the morning and I jog Music Row. I've been doing that. First time I did that, I did it with a Walkman and a cassette, right? Cassette.
A cassette.
Cassette.
What about an 8-track?
Listening to you can't. I don't think they ever made a portable 8-track. I don't think if they did, you had to carry it like this.
No, I remembered. I think I received one for Christmas, and they're like, then you can carry it like a little.
Oh, a boom box.
Yeah, like a little one though, or 8-track.
A little boom for an 8-track.
Yeah.
Wow.
It was cute. You can put the 8-track in there.
Well, I used to jog down there, and I still jog down there, and now it wasn't largely. It was all homes. All of Music Row was homes that maybe had been converted into real estate offices or converted into something else. But a lot of those are now gone, and there are these monstrous. They're not ugly. They're fine. They're beautifully designed, but
they're like skyscraper and they're business buildings. So the charm's kind of gone, unfortunately. And the other thing is to go to what's the big street, Broadway.
Broadway.
It's just packed, and all these bachelorettes and.
Whoop.
Uh-oh.
That's our timer. Okay.
Well, just
okay.
finish.
Well, we can
Broadway's
roll over
crazy.
a little bit into it.
Yeah.
I will allow that.
Well, thank you, sir.
I'm in charge of the
Since
clock,
we're
which means I'm in charge of trying to
on
keep her
drinks with Dee Dee and
John
the timekeeper.
on track. I am
And
Gozer,
much,
the
much
gatekeeper.
more, and much, much more, of course. We're a
Yep.
team, and it's a fun team. So, but we stay away from Broadway because it's so nuts. It's so crazy. I walked across the street. You sent me to a bar, and I walked there.
I sent you to Losers, and there were 2.
And I'm like, why are you in a place called Losers? But I guess it's popular here. It's so popular, there are like 2 or 3. So I walked to the wrong one. Yeah, so I walked to the wrong one. So I was like, what is this place? And it was insane. It was like Vegas. It reminded me of Vegas. And I had never seen that before here. So it's kind of...
Broadway used to be where you went to get shot.
Well, you might get... that might still happen, but
Well,
I doubt
no,
it. Because there are
it's
so many people there.
Very bright and very light and
It
very
is.
very beautiful. They say the neon lights are bright on Broadway.
Ah.
But
it is festive. It's festive, and everyone seems to be having a good time, but...
Oh, and the music is if you've not been to Nashville, then you don't understand how amazing the talent is here. Now, I'm not a big fan of, you go to Nashville, I'd like to hear more country music. You go down to Broadway and you hear a lot of cover bands that are actually better than the bands they're covering. So a cover band, they have a great band here called the Eagle Maniacs. I love the Eagles. Don't give me any hate mail because I said something against the Eagles. They're fantastic. But the Eagle Maniacs play better. They just do.
I'm not touching that.
They play better because they've had all this time to practice. Nobody's better than Joe Walsh. But Joe Walsh made that stuff up when it just came out of his soul. Unbelievable.
Well, people
Amazing.
really are talented here. And John, when we go to the Midtown Cafe a lot, and remember when those writers, they were maybe 23, 24, 27 years old, and in a day they wrote songs for John that ended up on John's.
Well, with John, I
John,
beg to
with
differ.
John.
They wrote with John.
But
yes.
right there on the spot, they were coming up with all of these. It was poetic. I was like, wow.
Yeah. The songwriting talent is unbelievable. The voices are unbelievable. The dexterity, how they play guitar, is unbelievable. So when you and I come up with great ideas. So we wrote all the songs for Made in America. Well, we wrote 3 of them. One day we wrote 3 songs for Made in America.
That's amazing.
And that's a lot.
3 songs in a day.
That's a lot.
And they're great songs. The lyrics are incredible.
Now, my buddy Brent, excuse me, there I am again.
Mr. Haney.
Brandon Will, Mr. Haney. Brandon Will and I wrote She's Worth It, which is a fantastic song, in 3 hours. 3 hours, yeah. So I tell you what, why don't you go to YouTube and look that up. Look up John Schneider, She's Worth It. It's a great song. I don't think we have time to play it on here. If we do, then Tony the Tiger will figure out how to do that. Won't you, Tony? Ignore the fires burning, live to fight another day. But I'm believing that no matter what it takes, her amber waves of grain should grow forever. It's a duty, it's a right, an obligation to stand for her and fight, for she's our nation. And that's why we won't give up, hell no. In this lost world, she's our hero. Freedom isn't free, it's up to you and me, brother, I believe. She's worth it.
And he's in LA.
Of course he will.
I figured out 3 hours
People
later.
didn't know that. I'm talking like he's right there.
Well, why not be honest about it? I mean, we travel
Because
a lot.
it's television.
Well, but we travel a lot. It's okay to be in this Nashville studio.
I told him we were in
and
Nashville.
It's based in LA, right by Warner Brothers. And you love Warner Brothers. In fact, we did see Beetlejuice recently. And that's a Warner Brothers masterpiece, isn't it? Kidding.
I wasn't going to go there. Let me finish one thing on the state of music in Nashville. The music in Nashville is incredible. The players are wonderful. The studios, you've never seen anything like this one. They're fantastic. But I think largely why Nashville has grown so much is really the medical industry. It's not so much. I don't see guitar players on the corner.
Yeah, you don't see much
playing,
of that.
which I kind of miss. I miss the dream of coming to Nashville and having someone discover that you have a way of saying things, Roger Miller. You have a way of saying things like nobody else does, and you get discovered. I don't know that that's possible here today.
I think what
but
it is
the medical
now,
industry is huge, and so is the collegiate. Is that how you say it? The college industry here, the education industry that I apparently skipped, is monstrous and thriving here in Nashville. So the music here in Nashville, if don't take this the wrong way, a bad musician in Nashville is better than a great musician, I think, anywhere else. Just as bad food in New Orleans is better than great food just about anywhere else. Would you argue with that?
No. I love the food there. I'm glad I'm here. I'm going to be 5,000 pounds if I stay in New Orleans.
You stay in New Orleans, my gosh. We ate at Commander's Palace one night, and then we had
Brennan's.
breakfast or brunch at
Goodness.
Brennan's the next morning.
Unbelievable.
Probably ingested about 24,000 calories in those 2 days.
Good.
But there was an interesting. I want you to tell our buddy who has the restaurant in Baton Rouge, Gino.
Mm-hmm. Gino.
Gino's theory about when he was in Sicily.
Oh, well, yes.
Versus when he came back. He came back to the States.
Yes. In Italy, people eat very well, but the quality is so much better than here. No preservatives or chemicals, or there's a real problem with that here, especially in the bread and the grain. So when he went there,
In the water.
When he went, and everything else, really.
Well, and we're gonna be educated about that. I think I'm not going to get political on you, but Robert F. Kennedy Jr. I think, is somebody that can really teach us all a lot about all of that. Continue.
So when he went there, because it was so good, he ate 5 times the amount of food, but he lost weight. As soon as he got back to the States, he gained weight in a week, like 3 pounds.
By eating less food.
Yeah, because it's not good. The vegetables there, the tomatoes are amazing because of the volcanic ash. The bread, the grains, everything is natural. The wine is amazing. So, I mean, you can make good wine here, too.
Table
Sorvino,
wine there. Yeah, of course. But table wine in Italy is, or Italy, as my grandma used to say, Italy.
And something that Paul Sorvino, my late great husband, he said that you could go to a gas station, and you've said this as well about Louisiana. You could go to a gas station and eat better there than the finest restaurants, perhaps in at least Minneapolis.
Yep.
Not to pick on Minneapolis.
Don't pick on Minneapolis, but anywhere. It's amazing. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Like you go to Argentina. I did a movie in Argentina. You get an empanada at a gas station in Argentina or a little stand on the side of the road. It's like, my goodness, what is that? What is that? We just ate. I'm hungry again.
Well, and olive oil too. I mean, and that's something we eat a lot. We do. It is amazing that we're not obese, but we do run and play a lot of golf, and we have a lot of activity as well.
Yeah.
So we just love to eat and love to go to wonderful restaurants, and we take pictures, and we're kind of foodies. Even though you said, I never understood why people take pictures of food, but now we're doing it.
I was never going to be that guy. I was never, ever going to be that guy.
I love to look at it, too. I love to,
I remember saying to one of my children once, really? You really think your friends are interested in that hamburger?
Yeah, they are.
And now here I am taking pictures of hamburgers. So you were right. I apologize.
What I like about it, it's a camaraderie that we can all share. We all eat. So we can all, I think it's a connection. So that's what's nice about it. And I didn't understand that before. But now that, we're posting all the time, then we did a cookbook as well. I understood the importance of food and good food and also the community involved in it. So, yeah.
That's right. Oh, you and Paul did that cookbook. We have a copy of that cookbook.
Yeah.
Maybe Tony can show a picture of it. But tell people about that cookbook. It's fantastic. We didn't do a cookbook. She and Paul did a cookbook, and it's a beautiful book, but it has incredible recipes in there because whether you know it or not, Paul was actually cutting the garlic in Goodfellas.
He was.
Because Paul was a consummate chef.
A lot of people thought that was the stunt double, cutting the garlic. Nope, that was Paul. And he was very, very good in the kitchen and a wonderful chef, like you said. Thank you. And I was a lot heavier when I was marrying him because you just got to eat. I mean, it's just, if you eat Italian and the Italian that's that good every day, the cheese and the meats and the pasta, you're going to gain weight. And I was okay with that, but I'm happy to be a little lighter these days. Not that I'm thin. I'm not. I mean, we're not missing any meals, are we, Mr. Schneider?
Got to feed my hair.
But yes, the book's Pinot Pasta and Parties, and it's amazing.
Pinot Pasta and Parties.
Yes, and it's amazing. It's this beautiful, and the publisher is here out of Nashville.
Wow, is it available? Where is it, on Amazon?
I think it is. Yeah, it's out there.
Pinot. How do you spell that? I've always wondered. It's not like Pinocchio. It looks like Pinot, right?
Yes, it does. Most people know how to spell that.
Maybe not. Remember, I skipped that education part. Pinot. Pasta. And
Parties. Now, I know you know how to spell that.
Parties.
That's right. So, yeah, food
is it the same thing if it's a political party, or is that a YS?
It's the same.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. There could be a donkey there. There could be a Republican there, but it's spelled the same way.
Okay.
I think food's important.
Food is very important.
Fun. So we'll talk a lot about that on the podcast. And again, I think John's the one who likes to be the keeper of the questions on his Facebook site. If you have topics,
and here
let us know.
I'm keeping the questions right here.
Mm-hmm. We're staying right on topic too. Now we may veer off here and there or all the time, but we'll get to it eventually. Where are we going to eat tonight?
Hardest. I'm not sure. We're going to go see. We're going to go see Reagan.
Why don't we go to Hall's? I walked in there and was looking around today. Why don't we try that?
Okay, let's not make our dinner plans right here, right now in front
of
everybody.
People like knowing what we're doing. I don't know why, but they do.
Is it Hall's or Hal's?
I thought it was Hall's.
I don't know. I don't even know which one you're talking about.
Is there like a...
Hal's is in Atlanta.
No, Hall's. It's across from the Conrad. You know where it is. Haven't you been there before? I thought when I mentioned it. Anyway, we should go.
We're going to go somewhere for dinner tonight, and we hope you will join us. But guess what? We're recording this 2 days ahead of time, so
But we'll post the picture of the food for sure. Now we have to do it. Now it's going to be a big thing.
The hard part for me now is as we continue to travel this great country of ours, is resisting the urge to go back to the same place.
That is the hard part.
I want to, like the angry rabbit or the mad hare, whatever that was called.
That is tough because we want to visit our friends and people that we got to know there, but we want to try something new, and it's tough. It's almost like we have to flip a coin.
I think we will. We'll have to flip a coin. So we almost started talking about the movie Beetlejuice, or just movies in general. And having been, I think, having part of my legacy be destroyed by a remake, or this was not really considered. This is not a remake. No, the Hollywood one.
I'm always confused at which one you're talking about.
The Hollywood. Don't you bring up the Dukes Go to Hollywood again?
Well, but we saw it.
I know.
And it's interesting.
Interesting word. Dukes Go to Hollywood was not one of my favorite. It was great to make, but it was not. It just kind of sat there. So actually, I put up a rather scathing review of Beetlejuice right after we saw it.
Oh, boy. And
I had some people say, well, how would you like it if people said that about the Dukes of Hazzard reunion? I said, I'm the one that said it about the Dukes of Hazzard movie.
You do.
The thing I said, I remember saying, and it was not a very popular comment to make, but I said that the Dukes of Hazzard movie with Johnny Knoxville and Sean William Scott.
Stifler.
Sean William Scott and Willie, and God bless you, Bert. But I said that movie would honestly have to be better to suck. So that's what I said about that movie. Well, Beetlejuice is considered it's not a remake. It's a sequel. I think it's a sequel because they're supposedly continuing the story. Mm-hmm. But I don't think there were more than 15 people in there last night, and it was opening weekend when we saw it. But it was in like 5. Whoops.
When we were
There's
in LA.
Beetlejuice right now. Hey, what are you doing? What are you talking about me for? Oh, that was Rodney Beetlejuice Dangerfield.
When we were in LA, they were advertising. I mean, it was everywhere. And it's not easy to get every billboard in Hollywood, but they kind of did. That was crazy.
Oh, and they took over Hollywood Highland. We took pictures there because Beetlejuice married us in Vegas. So what was the one good line as far as you're concerned in all of the Beetlejuice movie?
We should have been married in Vegas. And that was a terrible impression of Beetlejuice. I'm sure yours is much better.
I can't.
You're good at impressions. I'm terrible at them.
No, it turns into Rodney Dangerfield.
Every time.
But
the movie.
There's an old expression in Hollywood that used to be true, and it was I think I can say this here. You can't polish a turd. Right, because you can spend all day polishing a turd, and guess what you have at the end of the day? A really nice, shiny turd. That's what you have. Well, this movie, it's like they kept, as they were making it, which doesn't make any sense because I know the guys that wrote it, and they are fantastic writers, and they are incredible at structure, and they're incredible at character building. But it's almost like they depended upon the audience's memory of what Beetlejuice was to a damaging point where they felt like they didn't have to explain anything. So it just kind of went off in all these different directions. And I think everybody, here's interesting for me, everybody did an amazing job, especially the little girl. Mm-hmm. My gosh, she was amazing. But I don't think they were given anything to really sink their teeth into.
It just seemed like it was almost like a caricature of the first movie. You know, it's sort of like the
It was
shell.
like a spoof.
It was.
Like a parody, yeah.
And I was really rooting for it. You know, Beetlejuice did marry us, and we did have some people say, why would you do that? Well, we really didn't have much of a choice because we wanted to get married that day. And they're like, well, we really don't have anyone. Wait a minute. And the girl runs up the stairs, comes down, and goes, are you okay with Beetlejuice marrying you? And we're like, yeah, let's do it. So that's how that happened.
Meant we had to say, I do.
Him. But yeah, we did. I do. But he was actually great. It was fun. And, you know, and John and I went through a couple of really difficult years.
Show some of those pictures, Tony. They're pretty great.
Yeah, we went through a couple very, very difficult time, honestly.
That's a skinny Beetlejuice, though. That's
losing
skinny,
our spouses. So we're like, hey, the crazier, the more fun, let's do it. Let's just have fun. And we did. And it was the best thing we ever did.
Yep. It was great. It was a lot of fun. But the movie, not so much. The movie, and we wanted it to be great.
Oh, yeah, we did, of course. We're like, oh, here's the story. Beetlejuice married us. We're going to movie. It's going to be a fun time. And we did have fun. boy, and John and I totally agreed. We were looking at each other going, boy, this really isn't working, is it? But then John gets online and talks about how bad it is. And about half, it may be 60-40 of people who didn't like it, 60-40 loved it, but the 40% loved it. Loved it. And they're like, I'm going back. So,
I think they were afraid not to. I think they were afraid not to. If you want to watch comedy, watch the I Love Lucy show.
Amazing.
Listen to some George Burns and Gracie Allen. Listen to
Rodney
Jack Benny.
Rodney Dangerfield. Hilarious.
Well, he's like one-liners, which is great, and that's like Henny Youngman. There's a difference between structured comedy and one-liners. Henny Youngman, take my wife, please. Right? Okay, there it is, the whole joke.
Yeah, and the only
doctor,
joke.
It hurts when I do
Everyone
this. Well, don't
says
do
that
that
about that guy.
So.
But Eddie Murphy, hilarious, so funny.
Right.
And as far as the new guys,
one-liner comedy, in my opinion, one-liner comedy does not a movie make. You build comedy through it's called the rule of three.
Oh,
I
I
don't
see
know
what you're
why,
saying.
but it's a rule of three. You introduce a notion, you then later somewhere in the story you touch on that notion, and then you deliver the punchline later. And when you do that, it's fantastic.
So what you're saying is the movie.
They do that in Deadpool and Wolverine, which, by the way, it's the most.
That did work.
It is.
It's funny.
It's the most indignant movie you will ever see, and it'll have you laughing at things, and you'll be looking around saying, "Oh my gosh, anybody see me laugh at that? I feel bad. I need to take a shower because I just laughed at that." But it is an exceptionally well done film, and it's an exceptionally well structured film. Gets a little convoluted in the sci-fi world and all the different Deadpools that show up, kind of like the Matrix. They do some of that. But the first Deadpool, when I saw it, I went to that movie and I wanted to hate it. I wanted, you do not make an indignant superhero. This is going to just be awful. And I loved it, and I was embarrassed that I ever had a bad thought about it going in. And then I was embarrassed that I loved it because, again, it's indignant. Dee Dee hadn't seen the first one. Now, the second Deadpool was absolute garbage as far as I'm concerned. And it depressed me because I was so anxious to see it because the first one impressed me so much. Second one, no. But then we went to the third one, and it's Deadpool and Wolverine. And like I said, the language is the foulest language you're ever going to hear, and the subject matter is very, very strange. But it's a very well-structured film. So some people will watch it, and I don't think anybody who knows anything about film would say that there's anything wrong with that movie. But I did have people that say, well, and I went to college and I took a theater class and I understand how to make movies. I said to one of them, I said, well, really, where can I see some of the films you've made? I'd really like to see those.
It's funny how that works because we'll meet people who are like, well, I'm a movie maker. Okay. And John right
really,
away
what'd you do? You make a short on your phone?
What
Is that what you did? You're a filmmaker.
Or I'm an actor. Well, what? Well,
I'm an actor.
Really
Would you like fries
yet.
with that? Can you give me another reading? Another reading? Would you like fries with that? Give me an ever-loving break.
They're trying.
No, so I've stopped being a nice guy.
He has.
I have. I'm just, I played Jim Cryer for a reason.
You were very good at it.
So, thank you. So, Beetlejuice, see it if you must, but I would wait to see it on my phone or perhaps your watch. Deadpool, Wolverine, I would go out and see it now. Twister, it's probably already gone, but I would go out and make sure you see that with the greatest sound system possible.
Amazing.
Because it will, Twister, it will blow you away. Why didn't they have me do the advertising for that? But the thing about Beetlejuice, we were in Los Angeles a week ago, and this, I have not seen this fail yet. If there is an exorbitant amount, I mean, you can't go anywhere without seeing an advertisement for a movie, it usually means it's bad. It usually means they are busily in their little offices trying to put out the shiniest turd they possibly can.
And it's funny you said that because I never thought about
that. Polish a turd, that's comedy. That's the second mention of it. So I'm going to have to figure out how to make it the punchline later.
But I believe you're right.
I do too, because I recognize my voice.
Okay. John Schneider. No,
why do you believe I'm right? I'd like to hear this.
Well, because there was so much advertising in Hollywood, that's prime real estate for the movie industry. And it wasn't 2 or 3 or 4. It was like 30. It was everywhere. It's like, what in the world is going on here? And then John pointed out, well, it's probably not a very good movie.
But we wanted it to be.
We did, but that kind of makes sense to me because it's like, oh, well, they want to do that because they want to make all their money in the first weekend.
Because there won't be a second
Because there
weekend.
won't be a second or a third. So that is smart. I mean, you've got a bad movie, then, like, it's a gamble, but you hit the ads.
They did it with Ishtar. They tried.
Lord.
They did it with Heaven's Gate. They tried. They did it with, Warren. Was Warren and Howard? No, he was Dick Tracy. Well, they did it with Dick Tracy.
Dick Tracy was a great movie.
And they did it with, it was great individually, scene by scene, but I don't think Dick Tracy made any money. And then the one that lost, Waterworld lost a lot of money. There's a big rumor running around behind the scenes in Hollywood that Waterworld lost money on purpose because I had people who worked on it and they were paid to just sit there. So I think that was universal.
Why would you do that?
Trying not to sell a company. I can't talk about that. It's just speculation on my part. But trying to devalue something so nobody would try to buy. Kind of like what's happening right now with the with U.S. Steel, or what should be happening with U.S. Steel. So those movies, if they spend more on the advertising than they did on the movie, then probably the movie they have figured out that the movie needs a lot of help. What do you think about the notion of Japan buying U.S. Steel?
No.
You don't think about
not.
it, or you just don't think they should?
No, I'm USA all the way. I don't care. USA #1, absolutely not. U.S. Steel, it's a company that built America. No.
I think it's our oldest company. I think it was
That's
the first
terrible.
publicly. I think I may be wrong. I think it was the first publicly traded stock.
You know me. And look,
Well, but their argument, they're
I
somehow
love other
saying
countries, but I'm just always going to buy a Ford. Sorry, and I know you have all the fancy cars, sports cars, and
I'm a Mopar guy.
You are a global.
I'm not a globalist.
No, but when it comes to cars, you are.
I appreciate if it has four wheels and horsepower.
Ford is the most American car, and I will always be low to Ford because they didn't take the buyout back in the day.
God bless the internal combustion engine. Take that. They didn't. What they're saying is that if Japan buys U.S. Steel, Japan is ready to put so much money in it that it will immediately create more jobs for Americans. For Americans.
No.
I don't know why.
Everybody's got their opinion. I get that, but I just think in the end.
Well, that's how they're trying to spin it. That's why
I get it.
I don't think it's a good idea either. I don't think we should sell American companies. I don't think we should sell American dirt. I don't think
bad.
that other
that other countries should buy our farmland.
Well, yeah, I don't think that's right.
Yeah.
All of it, and even if they're brokering it through, I think Bill Gates bought a bunch and sold it. It's insane. Our country should not be for sale.
No.
Our patriotism should not be for sale. Our faith should not be for sale. Our opinions should not be for sale. And I didn't yell at anybody because they said, "Why did you say Beetlejuice was a bad movie?" I said, "Hey, you have a right to your opinion." But I don't think that a foreign country should buy U.S. Steel. We can't go. Am I wrong? Can we go to some other country and buy up their land? Will they sell it to us?
It depends on the country. Most won't. Most are smart enough where they won't. But it depends on every country's very, very different.
Yeah.
And we used to be much stricter about that. And now, you know what the deal is. Things are it's wild, wild west, and not in a good way.
You know what I'm lamenting right now? Gosh darn it. Okay, I'm gonna blow the whole third wall thing here. We are sitting here on Monday. Tomorrow night in our world right now is the debate.
Well, and everyone should watch.
Well, but it's already happened by the time they're seeing this. I hope you watch the debate. I wish we had an opinion about it right now. I have a couple I could venture to guess, but gosh, I wish we were talking about that. Talk about topical.
Well, we can do it next week.
Speaking of topical,
next week we can.
We can talk about okay. Ow! I hit my knee.
Uh-oh.
I'm wearing my golf shorts in case we get to play golf.
How is your corn?
I love succotash.
Fair enough.
So we also have to remember all this week, not just yesterday, not just on September 11th, but we have to remember always the folks who lost their lives that day. Where were you? Well, let me tell you this, and I'll tell you why. I was doing Smallville. We were doing the second episode, Hothead, I believe it was. So I was staying in outside of Vancouver, off of Kings Way. And I got up in the morning to go to the set, and I saw the news of what was happening, and went to the set that day. We filmed kind of because we were in Canada and we didn't know what to do. We were just lost and didn't know what to do. Didn't know what was going to happen, and it changed. It changed certainly everything, and we are grateful. I think we need to be grateful for the folks that cleaned that mess up. And we need to continue to be grateful for the folks who are doing everything they can to keep something like that from happening again.
And many people are still sick from that. Many people have died from the sickness of that. So why Tunnel to Towers, which my friend runs it now, and your friend,
Tunnel to Towers,
now,
yep.
Runs that, and that is just such a great organization. And anyone who tries to help deal with the folks
Put
that
that up
suffered.
there, would you, Tony? Put up the Tunnel to Towers website, please.
The
Thank
people
you.
are still suffering. We should give them whatever they need.
Yep.
How can we not?
Yeah.
It's just sad. It's tragic, and you bring up the point of people that are trying to create that again. It's terrifying because the borders are not secure, and they're all just coming. So it'd be easy, So
think about the group of Venezuelans that have.
Oh my gosh!
Where is it? It's in
Hell's
Aurora,
Hell's
Colorado.
Angels had to go. I don't know what happened with that, but I'm sure they helped.
What was that?
Hell's Angels went out there to try to help.
Oh yeah, not
That's
on
how
my
bad
watch,
it was.
right?
Yeah, I mean, and this is in the Bronx, and sorry Bronx, but this is in Detroit. Those are great
Aurora,
places.
Colorado.
Great places, but tough neighborhoods. But Aurora, Colorado, what the heck is going on here? You have Venezuelan gangs, and you've got kids running around and families, and they're trying to just live.
Trying to live,
They're
trying
just
to go to
live.
school,
and you're dealing with the Venezuelan gang. It's very upsetting. But anyway, but we have great law enforcement. Love the blue. Support them. Do whatever we can to support them. But they have a hard way to go right now out there.
And you
in
too,
other places.
please do that. Every time you see a police officer, I know when you see a soldier in uniform, you say thank you for your service. I have a song called Thank You for Your Sacrifice. That's particularly to the families of servicemen and women who have lost their lives defending our country. But when you see a police officer, now more than ever, especially when this whole defund the police nonsense, thank them for keeping your streets safe. Tell them you appreciate them. We were someplace.
We always do that.
It's getting harder to, with credit cards and stuff, it's hard to do. But I tell you what we do most of the time is when we see police officers somewhere, we'll have our person apply some money to their bill because we don't know what their bill is. And we don't want them to know that we bought it for them. We just want them to know that someone in this room and someone in this world appreciates them and appreciates what they do. So you can do that too. And it means a lot.
And even if it's just
because remember, a lot of these folks, especially if you're my age and you're like the Jonathan Kent Yoda in the room, and you go up to one of these young police officers and you say, "Hey, I really want to thank you for keeping our streets safe. Thank you for your service and your sacrifice." These police officers are probably 30 years old. They will shine like a Christmas tree.
It'll make their day.
It will make their day. And they need to know, as I said, now more than ever, these folks need to know that their sacrifice is noticed and their hard work is appreciated. And you can do that. Doesn't cost you anything. Just do it.
Or just get them a drink, and it can be an iced tea or a coffee or a bourbon, whatever.
Buy them a donut.
Nice.
I had to say that.
Nice.
I'd say buy them a donut.
Well, you are the donut, so it's okay
I was
for
the donut,
you.
so I can.
It's okay for you to say it. I don't know if police officers appreciate that.
How great was that? That's why I should be the official mass singer mascot of Police Officers Benevolent Association.
There you go.
Because I was the donut.
And you brought up a good point.
I hope so. Remind me, which one?
Why do people not rob donut stores?
Because they're full of police officers.
That's what John said the other day. I'm like, well, I guess you're right. You really don't hear much about that.
Hey, I got an idea. Hey, tell you what, Charlie, let's go out there and rob that donut store.
Nope.
Right after that, we'll rob the shooting range.
Not happening.
We'll rob the shooting range.
And then but they go to the drugstores, though, where it's like you can go up to $950 and just start, putting it. And then you've got the calculators making sure they don't go over so they don't get arrested. That is insane.
California. I think I hope it's, California, people are out there with calculators. They're robbing stores because they don't get in trouble if they take
$950
less
or
than
whatever.
$950.
It might be different. I thought that was the amount.
$949 is fine. I guess you needed it. That's okay. Only in California. Who ran California for? What's her name? Yeah. Anyway, I'm not going to mention Kamala Harris. I'm not going to. Not on this whole podcast.
No, you're not, are you?
I'm not going to.
No.
I refuse.
How do you say it though, Kamala or Kamala?
I've heard it so many different ways. I mean, in the same interview, people will say it different ways. It's funny. She says it different ways.
But it is interesting.
Of course, she has different accents depending on who she's speaking with.
Well, that is true. We have heard that.
What is that about?
That's not conjecture.
Some celebrity's wife did that, though. Who was all of a sudden Italian? Madonna has done it so many times.
Your buddy.
My buddy? Oh. Alec Baldwin.
That's all I have to do is
Alec Baldwin. Yeah, my buddy. My
I
buddy.
And I hate to be so light about it because somebody died with that,
terrible.
so that's terrible. But his wife, and again, I don't know enough about it, but everybody talked about how she was from Boston and kind of faked being Hispanic, I guess, and
or
trying
Italian
to be exotic.
or
this is people talking, because I don't know, we weren't there, but that's who you're referring to.
Yes. Yeah, it's strange when people do that. Madonna did that too. Speaking about that, it appears
not everybody has the most perfect voice in the world like you. People make fun of my voice. I don't know why. They do.
They ought to be making fun of your hearing.
What?
We went and saw Singing in the Rain. Please do it.
Oh, no, I cannot believe.
Please do it. When I first met her, I said, would you please say, what's the matter with my voice? She said, why? I said, because of Singing in the Rain. She said, I don't get it. Well, now we saw Singing in the Rain.
I'd forgotten about that.
Just say, what's the matter with my voice?
And what's the name of the character? Lena Lamont.
Lena Lamont.
So it's, you tell people who don't know Singing in the Rain that much, that they were doing silent movies. And they didn't know her voice, so then they got into talkies because of the jazz singer, right?
Because of the jazz singer.
Yeah.
And Gene Kelly was the male lead, and she was the female lead. She's beautiful, but she had a voice that didn't match her face.
So
it sounded like,
what's the matter with my voice? I can't stand him.
What, am I dumb or something?
What, am I dumb or something? It's so bad.
So when we saw Singing in the Rain at the Hollywood Bowl, she started doing that, and I went, and she's like, what?
What, am I dumb or something?
It was pretty amazing. Pretty amazing.
But, of course, not everyone has the most beautiful voice in the world like yours. So, yeah.
Oh, stop.
It's true.
And I finally got it back. It was very, very raspy and hoarse there for a while.
I think you could go on your Facebook. Who's got a better one? There might be a couple.
I got it back. Yeah. I'm going to record a song tomorrow. I'm glad I got my voice back because I'm going to record a song tomorrow with the legendary Peter Wolf, who has like 21 platinum albums for doing the music for Top Gun. Not Maverick, but for Top Gun. And we're doing a song called Don't Donald My Trump.
It's funny.
It's funny.
It's really good.
But he is from the rock and roll world. And
you sound like a rock and roller.
Yeah, so the track is already done. I'm honored beyond words to be singing the vocal on this track. We're going to do that tomorrow in Nashville.
Can you do like a little line of it, or would that be a no?
I can't because I have to listen to it. I'm one of those people. I listen to it at the studio and learn it as we go. Okay, we've got 6 minutes. 6 minutes.
Okay.
And that's it. That's all we have. I can't stand him.
People make fun of my hats too, but guess what? Sorry, folks, I'm going to wear one every day. It's my thing. I love it. It started, and we touched upon it.
I have hats too.
The Hick, Old Hickory Country Club, and we have a wonderful time golfing. But it started, look, I had skin cancer, and they had to cut out my hairline, and I'm like, it kind of got me started on hats. But then I loved it. See, we are hat people. And we had a lot of suggestions from the nice people, not the people saying, what are you, bald? Are you bald? Are you hiding something? No, I just like hats. Every once in a while I have a bad hair day. But there were several suggestions, I know we only have a few minutes, about starting a hat business, and I think we're going to do it.
We have 5 minutes.
What do you all think? I think we're going to do it.
I think that'd be a great idea. I think a hat business, because I've always worn hats too.
Business, let's do a hat business.
Yeah, in the Dukes world, I wore hats. Well, we had people we had a motorhome that was falling apart, so we
So we started an RV business.
we started an RV
or
business. It was
joining
great.
with others for an RV
Yeah,
business.
'cause
We're in the RV business, to be clear.
I've been an RVer or a camper since my parents did that in an Airstream trailer. So I've always been part of that world, and I've loved it. So why not hats? I've always worn hats. Grand Hotel, Dukes of Hazzard. In the opening credits, I've got that great hat on with the turquoise, and so hats I think are a really great.
Yeah, so the folks
Great
that were
idea.
giving me a hard time, thank you very much. I'm going to be very rich because of you. I appreciate it. That's what started the hat thing.
Wow. Okay.
Well,
So
they can come by and we give them a cap or something, and so I bet they've changed their minds by now.
yes.
Or
All right.
not.
We have 4 minutes left here, so let's touch the. For those of you who don't know, I'm going to touch on the grieving part. I just have to. We only have
At
4
the
minutes.
end?
Yes. Well, you just talked about your hats again.
I know, because they're fabulous.
I'm going to start I'm going to grieve over your hats here in a minute. People talk about, if you don't know, and I'm sure if you're watching this, then you do know, but Dee Dee lost her husband, Paul. Didn't lose. I hate that word. We know where they are, right? So Paul passed away. My wife, Alicia, passed away, and we were both like over there somewhere in our world, as
Very
a lot
unhappy.
of you are. In fact, when we first started this podcast, it was called The Morning Show, MOURNING. But it seemed just a little too down to talk about that for so long. So people ask, well, how do you deal with grief? Well, you don't really deal with grief. Grief kind of deals with you, and it's how you handle it. I like to say it's how you carry it. It's not something that really goes away. It's not something you get over or around, right? It's something you just. That analogy somebody made a long time ago. I saw it. They said it was like you're carrying a bowling ball.
I think you said it well and best whenever you say you just make more room for more love. It's
Right.
not that you stop loving them. You always will, but there's more room so I can love you too. So you can love me. So it's just making more room. We never
like
forget
that.
them.
Yep,
and we
yep.
never stop loving them. It's just...
It's like the jar. Well, you told me she was very, very direct about the whole thing at the beginning. She said, look, this happened, like it or not, this happened. There's nothing you can do about it. We're all going to heaven, hopefully. We're on a road that'll get us there. And when we get there, we'll see him again and we'll talk to him.
we know we're
until
going
then,
somewhere.
But until then,
heaven.
that's right.
They're
But
there.
until then, we have to, I came up with those 3 things on one of my retreats. Live, laugh, love, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's what Paul wants. That's what Alicia wants. If you've lost somebody, that's what they want.
Well, and
That's what there's that word lost
sick.
again. If someone...
Paul was sick, so he had told me, look, I really want you to find love again. Please promise me you'll do that. And I was like, oh, there's no way. And, because you don't want to think that way. And because then you admit that they're going to die or going to die soon. And it's very sad. So
Which feels
I know
like the
he wanted
enemy.
that.
To me, that felt
Right.
like the enemy of faith.
Right.
Right. So it's tough. It's really, really tough. We have less than a minute here. I'm going to tell you, in my opinion, the best thing you can do if you have lost a spouse, you can open up your heart for the possibility of not only loving again, but this is more important, I think, to be loved again, and then
And not feel
stop
guilt.
looking for it. Don't look for it. Don't look for it. It will find you. The last thing in the world I expected was the crazy dame at the end of the bar. And there she sits. And what was the last thing you expected?
I was going to be single, and I was going to be doing a cabaret all over the country and an actress, and I'm just going to be a workaholic. I'm alone. And I was fine with that.
Yeah.
That was it. Definitely wasn't expecting Bo Duke. That's for sure. And not that it's a bad thing. It's a good thing.
Oh, look at that. We're out of time. Thank you very, very much. I love Bo Duke. I love my General Lee. You know who you are.
And we love all of you.
We love all
Thank
of you. Thank you. Whoops. Thank you. We'll see you. We'll see you next week. We hope you're doing well. Hug somebody. Appreciate a police officer, and open your mind to new thoughts. Not yourself.
Okay.
You got your golf stuff on. Look, they see the golf
I don't
stuff.
care. They don't
All
care.
right. All right. Drinks with Dee Dee.
And John.